this case here, we're going to solve for an angle using cosine law. So solving for an angle using cosine law. There's only one case ever where we will be using cosine law to solve for an angle. And a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times cos of a. There's our cosine law. We can also rearrange that. Whatever letter we have in front, we have to have by cos a, and otherwise we put the other letters on the inside here. All right, so the only case that we're ever going to use the cosine law to find an angle is if we have all three sides. Okay, so if we have all three sides, we will then use cosine law to find the angle. After that, we could still, but we can always use sine law if we have one of the angles and its corresponding side. So label first, A, B, C, little a, little b, little c. You notice right here, we're looking for angle A, which is why I use this cosine law with A over here and A in the front. Otherwise, if we were solving for B, I would have B in the front and B in the back, and corresponding to that as well. To find angle A, we know we have little a is equal to 22, little b is equal to 23, and little c is equal to 15. There are two different ways of solving for this, and I want to go through both of them quickly. The first way is by rearranging the formula ahead of time. And if you want to do this just to show or just to put onto your cheat sheet, you can definitely do that. BC times cos A. So what we can do is we know that these two are both adding. So we can subtract b squared and c squared from that side there. Subtract b squared, subtract c squared from both sides. Okay, these are going to cancel out. And we are left with a squared minus b squared minus c squared is equal to negative 2bc times cos A. Now, a very common mistake that I've seen in the past is that we will subtract negative 2bc, or sorry, we're going to add 2bc to both sides because this is a negative. Remember that this right here is multiplying to cos A, so we can't subtract, we must divide. So negative 2bc is going to cancel this out, and we divide this by negative 2bc. Now, another area that we might also get mixed up is we start just by doing this in our calculators. This has to be in brackets, and this will also have to be in brackets. Okay. So what we get out of this is a squared minus b squared minus c squared, all in brackets, divided by negative 2bc is equal to cos A. Now, if you're trying to use this to find any other one, switch the a's to another letter, and then these two right here and these two will be corresponding, okay, will be the other two letters. So if this is B, this will be AC. This is C, this will be BA, and BA, or whatever you're trying to find there. So that's how we can rearrange it to find what cos A is. We take the inverse cos of that value. Now, you can use that anytime you'd want. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use all the numbers to solve and go through that process. A squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc times cos A. So we have 22 squared is equal to 23 squared plus 15 squared minus 2 times 23 times 15 times cos of A. A lot of numbers. Important to remember what order we're going to get rid of those numbers in or move them over onto the other side. So what we can do here is 22 squared is 484. 23 squared is 529. 15 squared is 225. I should have been able to do that without the calculator, but I didn't. 2 times 23 times 15. This is 690 times cos of A. Now we realize these two are both adding, right? We're adding this. So we subtract 529, subtract 225, subtract 529, subtract 225, and we get 484 minus 529 minus 225. This is negative 270 is equal to negative 690 times cos of A. Remember, this is multiplying. So to get rid of that multiplying, we then divide by negative 690, and this has to be a negative. Okay, there's a negative sign in front, so negative, so we cancel that out. And we divide by negative 690. And we get a value here of 0.391304347 is equal to cos of A. Cos A, take the inverse cos, inverse cos, and angle A is equal to 66.96 degrees. 66, there we go, sorry about that, there we go, 0.96 degrees. And that is how we can find an angle using cosine law. We could then find any of the other angles as well by rearranging the numbers, putting them in the right spot. We could also use sine law. That would possibly be a little bit simpler, as we don't have to go through and cancel everything out unless we use this formula right here, and I will box that. Okay, you may gladly use that formula, but you need to know how to use that formula.